Advaita Vedanta is one of the oldest philosophies in the world that teaches non-duality, or the absence of a separation between the subject and the object, that the self or Atman is everything and identical to Brahman. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya, Jivo Brahmev na pareh. That Brahman is the absolute truth, and this world is Mithiya, a persistent illusion. Also, that Jiva, the individual soul, is not different from Brahman. It highlights the relationship of the self, Atman, and everything else, Brahman. We believe that all that is within our skin is me, and all that is outside my skin is the world. Trapped in this delusion, we live in duality and experience pain and suffering. For the self, however, there is no inside or outside. When you change yourself and your thoughts, then the world outside you changes as well. You and the world are one. Brahman abides in each one of us, and Brahman illumines each and every heart. It believes that the individual self, referred to as Atman, does not have a separate existence. It has no age or gender. The Creator is diffused into His creation. It is only a projection or reflection of Brahman, the ultimate reality, like a seed in each one of us as our truest state, the source of bliss and happiness. Adi Shankaracharya, the most revered spiritual guru of all times, explains that ignorance is the cause of misidentification of your true self as your body and mind. It is your body, but it is not you. The ever-existing conscious self is not discovered, like the self-revealing sun is not visible to the blind. So is the true self not recognized by the ignorant. Through the practice of Vedanta, self-inquiry, you gain knowledge of the pure self as Sat Chit Anand, the inner divinity that we are all born with. Truth, consciousness, bliss. This Brahman is the ultimate reality, but the world in which we live is an illusion. Like a mirage, it appears in our consciousness because of the activities of the mind and our senses. The truth is that there is only Brahman, and all else is false attribution. Shankaracharya uses the famous parable of the clay pot, which is taken from the Upanishads, which states that by knowing a lump of clay, all things made of clay, including a pot or a sculpture, may seem to exist. But when you look closer, they are all simply one thing, and that is clay. So when we are looking at the pot, what we are looking at is clay. When we are looking at the sculpture, what we are looking at is ultimately clay. It is only our minds that conceptualizes this clay into various objects. I see clay in one shape and I call it a pot. I see it in another shape and I call it a sculptured statue. But these are only mental constructions that are all just referring to one single thing, and that again is clay. According to Adi Shankaracharya, this world is relatively real. He advocates the theory of phenomenal appearance or superimpositions. The analogy of light and darkness is also used to explain the Advaita doctrine of absolute and relative truth. In this analogy, light is the absolute reality and darkness is the relative reality. We say that the sun rotates on its axis, and hence we experience day and night, or periods of light followed by periods of darkness. From the sun's perspective, it does not rise, nor does it set. It shines at all times and knows no darkness. But from our perspective on the earth, we see the sun rise and set. Hence, we experience day and night. Both perspectives are true in their own ways. This does not mean that there are two truths and two realities, but that the same reality and the same truth are experienced from two different perspectives. Both are realities and valid truths, given their individual perspectives. Advaita Vedanta is the spiritual journey from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge, free from thoughts and perceptions. It is the liberation of your true state, from which all superimpositions have finally been removed. Correct Vedantic knowledge of the scriptures removes these superimpositions, not to produce some new result, but to progress from the basic human condition of ignorance and misconceptions to being liberated through knowledge of oneself as being true reality, the same as Brahman, pure consciousness. Thus, you are me and I am you. Atman, the true inner self, is non-separate from Brahman. When this truth is realized, liberation is attained. The gold and the bracelet, the water and the waves are the same, the source of supreme bliss and celestial happiness. This knowing of the self as Sat and Chit results in the knowledge of Ananda. Here Ananda means the experience of absolute bliss and happiness. The purer the mind, the greater is the Ananda experience. And in this state, you experience total peace, poise, and eternal happiness. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also leave a comment sharing your thoughts.